Okay. Let me see. Invite. You have no request. How do I? What's cracking, y'all? Oh, this happened so fast.
It
Okay,
did.
period. You don't have to wait because this is going to be saved on my Instagram. Hold on, real quick. Let me type on live with former USA.
Hey, USA. That's something we share. Another thing another
Okay,
we have in common.
finally, professional. 400. We don't have that in common.
But
400-meter hurdle
400 hurdle. Do you hear mommy's accolades?
specialist.
Do you hear me? Yeah, I used the one twice. Why you laughing? Why are you laughing at me?
Jasmine Hyder.
What we doing today?
We finna get into it. Y'all already know. Y'all already know.
Yes.
Y'all know how this go.
Like,
All right, y'all. We ain't waiting on nobody. We
mm-mm.
just get in here. We just jump right into it. Okay.
Yes.
So as y'all know, we on live. We will try to look at y'all comments as we can or whatever, but we are here to talk through some stuff. Okay. So this is how it's gonna go. I'm Alaysha Johnson. For y'all who don't know, I go by Lay. I am a current USA professional hurdler. And Jasmine gonna introduce herself. Go
Hi,
ahead, girl.
Jasmine Hyder. I am a former track and field um, professional athlete. I am currently a stay-at-home mom with my babies, doing my thing, hanging out. That's about it. Went to Arizona State, All-American, national champion. I mean, it's all there. We can keep it
But
going.
like,
Like, it's
run the
nothing.
stats.
You have the stats. I'm not running the stats.
Run
Pac-10,
the stats.
Pac-12 athlete of me.
Y'all, she literally, like, she's so humble, but we can run the stats all day. Like, we can do stats all day.
I stay humble because everybody be doing it. Like it's crazy. Like I think the other day, like when I had watched your post that you had posted where you were like, this I didn't win this race, but it was a dub for me because I matched my PR. I can't remember what it was that you did in the race, but it was a
Yeah.
dub for you, and I was like, no, like that's how it be. Like that's how athletes and most track athletes run their dubs up. Like when you can go out there, run a race, and hit a PR, you might not win the race, but shit, if you PR, you won. Like that's on you.
Look, cause I like tell people what's in my contract ain't in your contract, baby. Okay,
That
so we might be doing this for different goals. Like I'm doing
two
this
completely different reasons. I just had to line up today. You had to
okay,
win.
literally. So me and Jasmine, y'all, we met back in what 2019.
Yep, 2019.
It's 2022, baby. Like what?
That, and that no, but that's some real stuff. Like that's real. Cause a lot of friendships. We also like have dealt with some. Oh, hold on. Okay. We
Oh,
also
the baby.
like yes, and the baby's here too. We also have dealt with a couple things with our friendship too, like over time. So like it's really dope to see that like we are still strong and we here through all that. We've had some ups and downs with our training. We've been separated. We worked on some things together, like just everything. So it's actually really beautiful that we've been able to build this bond.
Because you know what I'm saying, like family. At the end of the day, can't live
At the
with it.
end
You
of the
can't.
day.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, we argue like sister, but
Sisters.
y'all, anytime I have anything that's like serious or important, I always call Jazz. I always ask her for her advice because she has went through a lot of this stuff that I'm currently going through. She's been places that I'm trying to be. So that's just what it is. So if y'all didn't know, me and Jazz, I moved when I left Texas Tech. I went to Dallas, and I started training with a coach that was currently already training Jasmine, and that's how we became close. We became friends, and then ultimately, like, she learned from me, I learned from her. We helped each other just see a lot, like, through the pandemic, and grow and learn who, like, we was as individuals, and like what we had to offer the world. And I think, like, that's what's so special about, like, our friendship, is that you taught me, like, how to, like, you reinforced a lot of the things that I didn't believe or see, and I feel like I did the
Did the
same
same
for you.
for
So
me. Absolutely. Absolutely.
it's like a match made in heaven, and she is literally the reason why, her, and of course, my coaches are the reason why I do things the way that I do, like, very unorthodox, very not by the book, and I'm staying strong and firm in the way that I'm going about not only this season but the rest of my track career, because I got all the old heads and the smarties on my side. So
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
so we're gonna jump right into it. You already know we here to talk about, we just finna get all into it. We finna just, like, dissect track and field, really dissect, like, being a professional athlete, transitioning from professional athlete to, like, real life.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, a freaking stay mom, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You live a life. Like,
Today you living a life. This is it.
sign me up. So tell the
But
people, just go through, like, the end of your college career, like, going into being a professional, and then talk about that. Like, let's get into that.
so I guess my breakout year was my last year of school, which was 2011. I made the world championship team that year, so I was geeked. I was ready. I was ready. I was ready for whatever was to come. My roommate had made the world championship year, world championship team in 2009. And so I lived with her for those 2 years, and she was like my mentor, Sharonda Williams. So I watched her be a professional athlete for a whole year. I watched her transition from college to professional, and it was like literally every morning, every day, everything. So I lived a professional, like, lifestyle my senior
Yeah.
year of school because my roommate was a professional athlete. I ended up making the world championship team in 2011 in the 400 hurdles. I went to Daegu. Um, I ran my PR to make the team, and then didn't run my PR ever again after that. So that's first, that's first thing, that's the first little pin we can put up there. But I ran my PR to make the world championship team. And then that fall, went to Daegu. We were in Daegu. I ran, made the semis, but didn't make it to the finals. So for the most part, everything kind of went. I don't want to call it downhill. It just redirected for me.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. It was a world championship year in 2011, which meant that the next year was an Olympic year. So now I kind of was moving and shaking with people in different ways. They were like, okay, well, you plan on making this Olympic team. How you plan on doing that? Like, what you plan on doing? And I'm looking like, well, my roommate got a contract, and y'all gave her this much money because I know, and she got an agent, and she's getting all these boxes sent to the crib. Like, that's how I plan on doing it. Like, what y'all talk about? And I don't know what it was, but I guess for whatever reason, the agent that I had at the time dropped the ball with getting me a contract signed and sealed and delivered. I went into my fall training for 2012 season without a contract unsigned, which was cool. Like, I wasn't tripping because I was at my university. So the coach that I had there at the time was coaching me for free, like taking care of me. I had a good setup, almost like how your setup is. Like, the trainers was working with me. I was at my university. I was doing everything. So everything was great. But I think for me, I was in a whole nother space mentally because I was like, dang, like I'm out here bad. That was my thought process. Like I'm out here bad. Everybody else got contracts. I made a world championship team. I'm out here bad. So my feelings was just like super hurt. Went into my 2012 season, basically trashed it, which was a terrible season to trash. Most of the time, like the rookies like do come out and trash that season after their first year out of college, and it's not expected, and you shouldn't. I'm not saying like that's cool, but for the most part, you have less races. Your everything changes. Your season changes. Nothing is the same. So I had a lot of factors as to why it didn't go the way it was supposed to go, but then a lot of big reasons were like on me too. Needless to say, didn't make the Olympic team. I was devastated. I was done with track. I wasn't gonna run no more. I was good. And my coach that I had originally was at Texas Tech, which is another thing we have in common. He's alma mater, Coach Miller. He's actually the head coach at Arizona State right now, but his alma mater is Texas Tech. He went to Texas Tech to become a coach there. When we were at the trials in Eugene, he came and was like, just come to Texas Tech, come volunteer coach, assistant coach with me and my girls. I'll train you, but like I just need you to kind of like work with the girls, teach them what it's like, be an
Yeah.
example. Basically, is what he asked me to do. So I was like, I mean, why not? I ain't got nothing else to do, and I really was gonna quit running because I had no money. Like I would have nothing, and I'm in my head like I don't have no money. I don't have anything. But my coach set it up for me to where it was. If I wanted to do it, I could go make it happen, and it'd be feasible without me really putting my life on the line or like just risking anything. I don't have any kids. I wasn't in a relationship. It was just me, so it was cool. So I get to Texas Tech. I actually have an amazing season with coach. I feel like I found myself there. I had a great season. At this point, we're trying out for the 2013 World Championship team. Didn't make that team either. And my agent, I feel like, was kind of just like washed with me. He was over it. So he was like, hey, you're going to have to kind of figure it out. Like, I don't know, tell you, like, your season's over. And this is in June at the championships. So I'm like, well, the season goes until September, October. You can't get me in no more meets. Like, and I wasn't even running. I was running better this season than I was last season. I'm not losing right now. I'm just not in the big races no more, but I am running well. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you. I'll call you, but whatever. So I went back home. I trained through just to train. And then I was a little sad. Like I was just like, this is stupid. Like, why am I in Lubbock, Texas, running track? I moved out here for a whole year. I'm working. I was a waitress. I'm working. I'm I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, and it's not working out for me. And now here I am in a situation where I'm stuck in a whole city that I don't want to be in, and it's just not. It's not cool. So I sat down with coach and I told him I don't think that I should run anymore and I need to try to figure out something different. Well, in
Girl, it's giving
we
Boost Mobile, girl.
I was giving Boost Bubble. Where we at? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And you didn't want to run anymore, and you sat down with your coach.
Yeah, I sat down with my coach. I told him I didn't want to run anymore. And we went to he was like, all right, cool, be done. I started working more. And I met Carrie when I was working. We started dating, and then it was kind of downhill from there. Within like 4 or 5 months, we were married, and I was done with track, so to say. I got pregnant. I had Gia, and I was like, I want to run again. I really wasn't done. But here's the thing. In that time, I think there was like something that was lacking for me. And I think a lot of women in the sport, and I think we all experience it, like you're looking around, track's not going how you want it to go, or it's not giving what it's supposed to give. And so you like, well, dang, I could just, I mean, let me move on. You thinking of like
Oh,
relationship. Yeah, you're thinking of relationship, you're thinking of, family, you're thinking of just what else you could be doing. And that was a big lack for me. And so once I got my husband and then I had the baby, I was like, oh, okay, well, I got this and I still got all this. I can still do this. So I went
Exactly.
back out there again and I trained again. And that
Okay.
was
Before, oh, no, because we got stuff to get into before you get there. So, okay. So let's double back. Let's double back to your final years of college because it was something that you said there that reminded me of myself. And I'm
okay.
always me of myself because I feel like somebody else experienced this. So you said that like your final year there is like you being a professional because you're watching, you know what I'm saying, your roommate get these boxes, have this contract, you know what I'm saying, and you feel like that's how it's supposed to go because that's what you're seeing everybody else do. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
And that reminded me of when I got to Oregon, and I ain't gonna say nobody's name, but when I got to Oregon and I was living with the people that I was living with, and I was a red shirt, and I had to watch everybody's season go here and get all this gear and do this and do that, and I'm like, okay, that's how it's gonna go. And that's not how it went.
That's not how it went. When it don't go like that, you be like,
You'd be like, huh? And then and then when it did go like that for me, and then afterwards when I came out of college, when I'm coming out of college, me expecting to, I've done all this, I should be able to get something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I should be able to get something. And granted, when I was in college, I did have the opportunity to sign. I didn't. And I stayed in college, which that could have been or could have not been,
right, right.
that decision. Who knows at this point? Um, but then you get out of college and you think, oh, I'm just gonna get out of college, just gonna be a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing and I'm running fast and this shit translate, but then it's like a disconnect there for some people. And I feel like really for most people who aren't running super fast coming out of college, aren't making these teams or aren't breaking records or getting 1, 2, 3 at nationals, it just don't work
Yeah,
that way.
it does not work that way at all. And
And why my question is, if it's been like this, why is there not a
a
bridge?
bridge. Yeah. I feel like they have created a lot of different programs, and I feel like they've created programs like on the outskirts that would have been good. Like for me, if I would have came out of college and Altus would have been in Phoenix that year that I came out of school and I didn't get my contract and I was sitting at this campus, and I would have had a program that would have been able to prep me professionally and give me a place with other people doing what I was doing similarly, because like still I'm going around these college kids watching them like get all their perks and everything, and I'm looking back like, dang, that used to be real nice, and I'm looking forward like, dang, like that would have been great, like if that would have worked out. But I think that like a lot of those programs are in, like they have them now, but
Yeah.
it's just they're not always ideal, and they're not necessarily set up to be a program to actually help launch those fourth, fifth, and I guess they call them like the third tier and fourth tier like athletes is what you would say. But I do feel like a place like Altus is something that would be a good bridge. And then they try to use, of course, the Olympic training centers and things like that. But I think that that's more of like a crutch. And then outside of that, you talk about funds and financing. And when it comes to track and field, there's just not a lot of funds in track and field to just be able to take care of the athletes that might need that type of funding. You got to
Yeah.
bank on people who are going to make sure the federation is taken care of and is going to be seen and is going to go and get the gold medals in their mind.
I'm screaming at Carrie. Hey, Carrie. Is there any structure transition from collegiate to professional? I personally, so I've heard that there is. If I'm wrong, somebody jump in on the live and tell me.
Yeah, because I
I
haven't.
was produced, and I feel like you know, and not, with all humbleness, I feel like if there was some athlete to introduce it to, I should have been an athlete.
Yeah.
So I personally feel like there it's a weird way that they do the selection or something, or it's tailored towards a certain athlete, or I don't know, but I feel like the same way that we go to class and go to meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and we should have the same thing for that.
Yeah.
Thing that it should be applicable to all the athletes who want to transition.
Yep.
Even put a standard out, like you gotta be, put some type of criteria out that's for the third and fourth tier athlete, because you got athletes like me who I wasn't the third or fourth tier athlete. I was what,
You
first,
were top two. You were top two. Yeah. Top
you
two.
know what I mean? And I still was left out. So imagine the athletes who weren't even able to show as much of their talents in college due to whatever, but still were talented enough, who just get lost in the sauce.
Yep.
So moving on to another thing that you said, you spoke about agents. Now this is something.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is good because
For so many reasons. I
because
start I started off with an agent I signed with. I remember one not having back to a system where I could talk to somebody to tell me what I need to look for in an agent, why I needed an agent, what all those what is everything, what do I need all this for, like what's going on. So when I sign with an agent, I'm automatically thinking I should be taken care of. The agent that I switched to, because I did switch, which I'll tell you about that in a minute, but the agent that I switched to, he originally, when he sat me down, didn't even give me anything. It was like, I remember coming downstairs at the hotel lobby, sitting down in front of him and another athlete. I'm not going to say their name, but they were sitting in front of me. And the agent was like, okay, you got any questions? Like, what you want to know? And I'm like, huh? I just made the world championship team. I am the one running fast. I'm the one. Like, what you mean? What questions do you got for me? Don't you want to know, like, what my plans are in track and field? Like, don't you want to know, like, what my goals are, what I want, what I'm looking for, who I might want to sign with, any of that? And he rubbed me so wrong. In that sense, I ended up going with a different agent. Went with a different agent. He's the one that dropped the ball on my contract. There's these stupid deadlines, I guess, that happen after there's quarters in the season. So one of the quarters, like once the quarter drops, then that's like nobody's getting nothing after that quarter is over with. So now it's a new quarter. I'm calling the agent. He's not answering his phone. He doesn't want to talk to me. Like, I'm getting like straight cold shoulder. So I called a friend, asked him what I could do to get with the agent I originally was going to sign with. They helped me to basically cease and desist a contract that I had. I picked up with a new agent, and it just was like, it was just really weird because it was never like anybody was working for me. It was like I was always working for someone else, and it's not supposed to be that way when you're paying somebody a percentage of your money, and that's just period. I'm paying you, like, you're not paying me. You're not paying me. I'm paying you. That's just what it is. So I was really confused by that, and no one ever expressed that to me, and I never really learned anything about that until probably coming back into the sport when I got around a higher, I guess, level of professional athletes that had agents and contracts and deals and stuff like that, where I was actually able to understand why I didn't need one. And that was a good 4 or 5 years, like, into my professional career.
And this, for everybody who always asking me, who's your agent? Did you sign with? I'm not gonna sign. I don't have no agent. And it's just, you have to do what makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I think some go into this thinking like we gotta have this, we have to have that because everybody has that. But in retrospect, like, what makes sense to you in your situation? Like, if you're not signed and you're not making no money and you're not, you know what I'm saying? In my mind, I feel like if I run some hot shit, I should be able to get in any track meet. Like,
Anyway.
y'all should want me in the track meet because I'm running hot shit.
Yeah.
And other people feel like, let me just get an agent, but then so I can get into these track meets, but then you don't be running hot shit. It's like, what's even the point of being here? You know what I'm saying? So I feel instead of working backwards, like, okay, now I'm in all these big meets and I got to figure out how to run fast. Sit down and figure out how to run fast first, and then you can get yourself into these meets. You know what I'm saying? And I, um, I feel like even me, like going in with this mindset, it was really hard because then it's everybody around you, like, who you signed to? You signed to such, you should talk to such, and he'll get you on all the meets, and they'll do this and they'll do that. But then when I sit and have conversation with the agents, it's the same thing. It's like, you know, nobody's asking me. I have not had one person ask me, who do you want to sign with? You know, like how much, even more important than that, how much money do you want to sign for? You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I had a conversation with a financial advisor that how much money do you want to make? And how much money do you want these companies to pay you? And I'm like, Sean, nobody even asked me that. I mean, I got a number in my asked me that. It's crazy because I spoke to one of the athletes that is working currently with, you know, I've been talking to a couple of agents. One of the athletes that's working currently with one of the agents that I spoke with told me, like, you know, at the end of, remember that person is working for you. They don't tell you where to go. You want to go, and they get you there. So it's like, it's more important to have those people that, like, I always keep going back to how everybody wants to gatekeep and not tell you the real, like, you know what I'm saying, tell you the real information. It's like, why are y'all not telling me information that's important so that this could be changed for the next people behind me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all gatekeeping, y'all never want to tell people you don't need no agent. We could do this on our own. We don't need no agent.
And so Bianca made a good point, like to say, like, a lot of it is more so like for relationship. And I remember we had a conversation like about a week ago about this when I was telling you, shit, like, that's a good agent overseas. There's a lot of relationships there. So when it comes to running, you're going to be able to like get in. There's going to be a little bit more leverage there. So yeah, like when I'm running fast and I'm ready to pop off and I'm ready to like go, absolutely, I need to have that relationship and I need that agent to be on my side. But if, like you said, I'm not running nothing, I'm training, I'm doing these local meets, like, you're not sending me nowhere, you're not telling me or creating a schedule for me, then like I don't need an agent. Like there was a long period of time I feel like that I dealt with not having an agent, and I got just as much work and not without having one. But I will admit that my relationships played a big part of that. I was in a group with Olympians. My coach was coaching all the Olympians. So if someone had to run the 100 and someone had to run the 2 or someone had to run the 4 or whatever, it was like, hey, can she just go run the hurdles? Like, it was the 400 hurdles at that too. So it's just different. But the relationships are important. But I never saw a real need to have an agent when I was, I guess, not a tiered athlete. So once I got out of like tier 1, tier 2 in USA, USATF wasn't really like ringing my doorbell and I wasn't getting the calls to do my drug testing and all that stuff. I didn't think it was necessary for me to have an agent at all.
Yeah. So we talked agents, we talked now, okay. So you already told me how you felt like it was gonna go. You thought you could come out, you thought you were gonna have these, you know, thought everybody's gonna be banging at your door. You just made this world team. This is pretty much where I am right now. You just made your world team. You know what I'm saying? Even though we didn't medal, whatever, woo woo, I feel like I still speak for a lot of the people who made the indoor world team with me, because a lot of us were unsigned, and I'm looking, and a lot of us are still unsigned. You know what I'm saying? And granted, we do have an outdoor world team and stuff like that, but I feel like it's more like a realistic hit that, like, there's no medium.
Yeah, I think that's what, like, it was. It was like, it kind of was like a reality check. And for me, it was definitely a reality check in my event. My event had gone like we were running 55, 56, like having fun. 54 was hot. when, you know, Lashinda ran that 53, we was like, oh Lord. And then, you know, when she broke the American record, that all happened in 2011. So it was like, that was when the hurdles tipped over, like the breaking point of the 400 hurdles tipped over. And now it's like, it's no, like, you can't survive in the 400 hurdles running 55, 56 seconds. Like, what? Are we like, that's not happening? You have to be able to run 53, 52 seconds, and I wasn't. So my time, 55, it wasn't cutting it. And I didn't realize that. I just saw world championship team, and that was another aspect of it. No one broke down to me the importance of world rankings and like, what are you ranked in the world? Like, that's what these meet directors are looking at. Like, what did you do all season last year? Like, that's what these people are looking at. And track and field is just like a right now sport, so you have to live off of that. And once my right now moment turned into a like, oh, that already happened and other people are doing the same thing or better, then it was dead. It was dead and gone. After that, it was a wrap.
It was dead and gone.
It was
Okay.
dead and gone.
It was
It
dead.
was dead and gone. It's like, what you fit to run now, so it's like, and it was crazy to see like the longevity of my career versus like some of the other like athletes that I did run against, and then like even going into like the championships, like the people that were signed, because that's how they was doing it back when I was coming out. They were signing the night before and wearing their uniforms in the finals and things like that. So I had like a good class of people that came out with me that had already ran faster than me, one placed faster than me, everything, that had contracts. And they did not make the world championship team that year, and ended up having like careers like maybe like a year or two like after, and then that being it, and not running anymore.
So now let's talk during, like, so this is during your career. This is during your career. You find yourself. Now, this is one question I like to ask female professional athletes, because I don't really know how it goes for men. But I like to ask you, at any point, did you have endorsements from other people? Was anybody else paying you besides, you going running and making money from running? Was anybody else paying you?
No, I had a couple like endeavors. My mom, was always like trying to get me to do things. She was like, you need to write these letters. Like that 2012 year, that Olympic year, I did a whole lot of like politicking. I went from like store to store, writing letters, dropping them off, telling people my story, trying to get donations. Um, Back in 2016, I had a small GoFundMe, but it was hard because like my husband is like, he was in the NFL when we got married. When I had came back in 2016, we weren't making the same amount of money he's making now. So yeah, I needed help. Like, it was like we were putting all the money out. I was paying everything. No sponsorships, no endorsements, but also like almost, I think, to the lack of my own like discretion, because I feel like there's like a lot of things that we can do like as people. I was a mom that was coming back to train. Like, I could have been looking out to like the diaper companies, like, I'm trying out for the Olympics, like, can you just send me free diapers, like, all types of things like that. But that wasn't where that's not that where my head is. Just at the time, you don't think people are thinking about that. You trying to focus on running fast, like you trying to you low key need a team for things like that, like to make sure that you are on top of those type of endorsements. And yeah, I never really had just one person that was able to do that for me. I did have a gear contract one season where I got shoes and clothes, and like that carried me through a couple like seasons, like to have like some stuff, but not not where I was like being paid and I didn't have to go to work, and I didn't have to pay rent, and I didn't have to figure all that out. Absolutely not. A lot of things were by the saving, like by grace. So the agent that I had switched over to, because he knew my situation, he paid for my rent, but I ran all 2012 season, and I think that I may have seen $2,000 of that in fall of 2012. I think I saw like $2,000, like a $2,000 check. I was shook. I was like, oh snaps, I got some money for this, like season, like for running. And then 2013, like he tried to get me in like some races and running stuff, but a lot of stuff was like more local, so I didn't see any money, any funds, nothing. And it was mostly me working to pay for whatever I had going on. And hopefully my agent was getting me out the country and stuff like that. Any races I ran, that was all included in my running.
And I just want y'all to know that when we do run, baby, we not seeing none of them dollars. None of them dollars once, okay?
I look, I didn't say nothing to my agent. When I said, he's like, what do you need? I said, can you just pay my rent? Those are my words. Can you just pay my rent? That's all I need. And at the time, I lived in like a 1-bedroom apartment by myself in Phoenix, in Tempe. And I caught like the bus to practice, like stuff like that. And he was like, all right, it was like $750 for my apartment at the time. This is how old I am. $750 for an apartment. I was paying $750 for my apartment. He was paying the rent every month, all the way up until I moved out of it. And I moved to Texas with my dad. And then I moved to Texas with my dad, and I was living with my dad. Moved to Lubbock, and I was living with the academic advisor for the team. So it's like people was helping me out. I was nomading it. Like I was doing whatever I could to just kind of make it through like that time with minimal funds so that I could run. And then of course the commitment of working and telling your job, I need weekends off all this month and next month so I can compete, or I only can work 3 days out the week because I have to recover. Like that stuff is crazy.
I tell people all the time, like, well, one time I had this man, this coach. He wasn't a track coach. He was a coach. I don't know what he coaches, but they call him coach. Some call him a coach. And he asked me when I got to Florida, he asked me, like, who are you? Like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a professional track and field athlete. And he's like, oh, who you signed to? And I'm like, oh, nobody. Like, first of all, I hate when people ask me that because, like, if I was signing somebody, I would introduce myself as such. Like professional track and field athlete, baby. I'm just a professional, And he's like, oh, how do you pay to live? Like, and it's a legitimate question because I don't think people understand that. And I could I could be skewed, but most track and field athletes have jobs.
Yep.
Most track and field athletes are working so that they can continue to compete in this sport and try to live out their dream. And like, it's not a glamorous life. It's not, somebody has to pay for treatment, somebody has to pay for rehab, somebody has to pay for the track, somebody has to pay for every little thing is literally, and it's all a la carte.
Yep, and all a la carte. I said all a la carte.
But you want me to be a professional track and field athlete, and you want me to be top 25 in the world and top 15 in the USA. But after practice, I have to take a nap so I can go to work. Yeah. And I have to figure out how to keep a job, even
that allows me.
Like you said, they gotta let me off on the weekends, and sometimes I gotta leave from Thursday to Sunday, and don't let me go to a big meet. Now I'm gone for a whole week. Like, what job do you? Sometimes I feel like we could have, like, these are the things that we could have more conversation about. Like, these are the things that we can have more help with. Like, if I go and I train. If I go and I train at the Olympic Training Center or anything that's like a facility like that, or if I go and train with a Nike camp or a Adidas camp or whatever the case, why am I not getting some type of, hey,
right?
Yeah, here's a list of all of the jobs in the area that we work with our athletes, and it might not be the best jobs in the world. It might be front desk, or it might be, back of the house or whatever, but they're gonna give you a job. And as long as you go to work, they understand your schedule, and they may have your schedule in advance, whatever, and this and that. Like, I feel like when I say, like, we need help, like, it's not always giving somebody $1. Like, sometimes it's
not even just like during the Olympic year, But the fact that like track and field athletes are professional year in and year out, so I need that help not just during Olympic year. I remember Dix had did like a special for like a year, I think 2016, where they had allowed the athletes to come and like work and all this stuff and gave them free shoes. I don't know what they did, but it was like part-time, high pay, flexible hours so that they could compete. And I was like, that's nice, but like it's more years besides just the Olympics that people need jobs to be able to pay for their season for track and field. Like it just is. And then like you said about the dollars, I'll go run a race and won't see that money until
Never.
I told you. Yeah,
Never.
I know I got some checks floating around somewhere. I know
Like,
I got a check floating somewhere in Italy.
and I did use for 24-hour fitness, and they did like it. And I have worked for some jobs, like a lot of my jobs I go in like, hey, I'm a professional athlete. If you can't work with my schedule, I can work here. You know, I did used to work for 24-hour fitness. I have nothing bad to say about 24-hour fitness. Love them. They worked with my schedule. You know what I'm saying? And they did used to have a partnership with the Olympics. They don't anymore ever since COVID hit and all that stuff or whatever. And but in reality, most of the jobs I work are at the club. And how ironic is that? Because it's like I'm supposed to be this professional athlete. I'm supposed to be a professional athlete that is primed and proper, that is ready to be put on a billboard, that is girl next door, America's favorite child,
Yeah.
and you're gonna see me at your nearest club bartending because where else? Or you're gonna see
Yeah.
me at Geeks
Yeah.
have dressed because where else?
That's
Because
where I work.
jobs besides bartending or waitressing with these crazy hours, and like what other jobs have the flexibility? Like I can't even use my degrees that I got to go get a job and make money because I'm still in a sport, and y'all not giving us. There should be programs. There should be, you know what I'm saying? It's no reason why if y'all have 30 camps in Florida, y'all don't have no jobs that y'all have lined up for us.
Mm-mm.
Nothing. Y'all got 20
Okay, but
right now.
you said everything is a la carte. So that person has decided to train over here, but if they really want to, they could train over here and they can go live over here and they can go get this person to work on them from that camp. Like everything is just like a melting pot when it comes to track and field. And I think like that's like one big issue that we have like in our sport. They tried to create these like different tiers and different levels, but you need the gaps. Like you need the gap fillers. So you need the third and fourth tier athletes to be there. So you have to take care of those people because ultimately it is a team. We all have to line up against each other to make it happen. So I don't know. That's crazy.
Oh. And that's crazy that you say like you're the first person I ever hear say like we have to take care of the third and fourth tier athletes because we do need them. We need
Yeah.
the lanes.
It's like it's no different when they were paying Usain Bolt all the money to line up. And it's like, okay, well, it's not a race. Like I know everybody wants to see Usain Bolt, but if like lanes 7, 8, and 6 and 1 and 3 and 4 don't line up, then what?
True.
Then what? Then you just got Usain Bolt running by himself, and don't nobody care about that. They want to see him beat people. That's like they want to see him beat people. And so, I mean, I can't give a surefire way to help. I've been in so many training groups. I feel like I've came across like the unsigned, the signed, the rookie, the professional, the professional without the contract, the professional with the best contract. Like I've I've come across like all of it. And I guess like the one thing that everyone like has in common is just the fact that they just all have a goal that they want to accomplish. And at the end of the day, pretty much each one of those people are willing to do what they have to do to accomplish that goal. And that's just what it is. And again, nothing else can be a part of it. You gotta, what's for you is for you. So if you go out there and like you run fast and like you are in the club and Nike is like, hey, I need you on this billboard. And then someone's like, but she was just over here half naked serving bottles to the dudes. Like, what's up? Like, what? And it's like, well, she ran fast, so we don't care. Like, that's really like how you want to look at it. But I don't think it matters. What's for you is for you. So if it's meant, it's meant. Everywhere stay in the blocks and protest. What are they protesting?
Every ain't nobody got no time to be protesting.
Like, we're not in the blocks.
It's not. I'm not protesting nothing unless it's Black Lives Matter, baby. Okay. But Amy Girls out. So talk me through you going. Okay. One more thing.
Okay.
So this is obviously big right now. And I don't want to just say right now, but it's like this is obviously a big thing, a big deal because we got Allison Felix, her situation. Then we have Brianna Rollins and her situation, and I hear you talk about like how you just feel like these are the things that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? And it's clock is ticking. And like talk me through your mindset of like, okay, I'm done running. I'm just gonna be done, and now I feel like I can go live a regular female life. And then like talk me through that.
It took me a minute, to be honest. I had a couple. I had a couple of coming to Jesus moments. One being after 2016. That was the year after I had Gia. Oh, well, 2 years, a year and a half after I had Gia, because I came back very soon after having Gia, and I should not have done that. That was one thing, and not in a bad way, but just like I should have gave myself more time. And then two, that following year not making the Olympic team, and that was the second team I tried out for, and it was very, very hard at that time to make the decision because Carrie and I had been away from each other for that 2016 year while I was training, and 2015. So when I didn't make the 2016 team, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to be my husband. Am I going to keep training? We're paying a lot of money to do this. And I just was like, nah, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to be done. I'm going to go away. And it was very, very hard for me because it was in my mind all that I had known. And it was a lot. Like, I think I was dealing with what I thought other people were gonna think of me. Here I am, like running, like super committed, like I have all the talent in the world, and then I'm done. I'm not gonna run no more. I didn't make a Olympic team, so I'm quitting. And I'm married. I have a kid now. Like whatever. And it was like I gave up on myself, or I gave up on my dreams. And I think that's why I ended up coming back again in 2019, this last time, because I wasn't settled within myself being done and saying that I was done. I was more so doing it because I felt like it was like what I had to do, and if I didn't do it, then it wasn't going to work out for me in the long run. And so that time away was good. It was great. I was able to pour into my family. I was able to, experience a lot of things that I've never experienced before in my life. But I think whenever you're leaving or you're stopping anything that you've poured a lot of time, effort, and love into, it requires evaluation, and it requires time to like think about it. Like you can't just walk away from something. It don't matter what it is. Oh, mama. Okay. You can't just walk. You can't just walk. You can't just walk away from. You can't just walk away from you can't just walk away from anything that you've given so much to. And for me, I had given so much to track. I don't know why I wrote it off so nonchalantly. I think it was because I felt like it wrote me off so nonchalantly. It was like, like, oh yeah, you made world championship team. You ain't do this, you ain't do that. Like, nobody care about you no more. You like, you just Jasmine. Like, nobody care. So I felt like I could do that, but I couldn't. I have been running track since I was freaking 13 years old. It brought me almost everything that I've ever accomplished in my life when it comes to my degree in school, when it comes to just being the first in my family to graduate, like just so much stuff. So I had a lot of pain with the sport, and I think that it took me really to sit down this last time that I went through COVID, that year before COVID, like moving. And I think I've told you before too, just having everything sitting in front of me, being in a space where I have my family. I'm financially stable. You know, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm strong. I can pay for any clothes I want. I can get any shoes I need. I have no worries when it came to stepping on the track and going to practice every single day. And it was what I had always wanted when I was back in the gap running. You know, if I would have had that in 2012, like, let me step on the track in 2012 with no worries. I'm going to make the Olympic team. Can't nobody stop me. Well, I had that. And when I had it, I still didn't have it in my heart. And I think at that time is when I really sat back and was like, Jasmine, evaluate the situation. Like, do you really want to run track? And I think you asked me that one day too. We would sit down and you was like, bruh, like, it's just like, why are you doing this? And I remember that moment, Lay, and it's funny because it was big. It was a big moment for me that I've never shared that with you, but you asking me that day, it sat with me and really made me think to myself, like, dang, I haven't been asked this in a long time. Like, do you really want this? Like, why are you doing this? Like, if you like, what you doing it for? And I did. And once I went through it, I started thinking in my head, like, man, nah, this ain't it. It just isn't. Like, I'm taking time for my family. I'm taking time for myself. I'm stressing to do something in a space that is not even conducive, like, for what I'm trying to do. Like, I was forcing a situation. I was trying to literally fit a triangle in a circle. Like, it just was, or no, it's the other way around, but you know what I mean. I was just forcing I was, I was like, I was forcing it. And once I realized that I was forcing it and I felt like it was like hindering my family and it was hindering me mentally, I just had to let it go and I had to be okay with it. Um, and be cool with it. And it wasn't so much hard in the sense that I was leaving like track. I guess I think more so it was just hard that I didn't have my hand on anything else that I was ready to do moving forward. So I just didn't want to let go of what I was so familiar with always doing. And that's very common. But I think had I sat in that space years prior, like, hey, baby, if I had sat in the space, like, you know, back in 2012 or 2013, when I didn't make those teams then, and I really processed my emotions, I wouldn't have felt like I needed to come back in 2016, come back in 20, you know, I wouldn't have done all that. I don't feel like I needed all those times to return back to the sport to tell myself that I needed to move on and that I've accomplished a lot and I have so much to be proud of, and I still have enough to give to anybody who wants to receive from me. Like, you know, I had all that. I just had to see that worth within myself. That was probably my biggest thing.
I think that sometimes, like with track and field, and I think a lot of the times with like our fans play a big part in that when it's like people kind of push you off if you, yeah, what's your goal? Like people, you say I'm a professional track and field athlete, and the first thing is you want to run at the
Are you
Olympics. You go,
Yeah, you went to the Olympics?
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, and not to down, you know, the fans or nothing,
Right.
but of course, like that plays a big part in why I feel like people go so much further when they already should be done.
Mm-hmm. Like, you should be shut it down. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have to do this in order for people to believe that I was something. Like in order for it to be like, okay, I did all of this and
Yeah.
oof, only goal. Like people don't understand. Like there's tiers, there is money to be made, and there are other meets, and there are, you know, other, you know what I'm saying? Like I was on a world team. Like, you know how many times I had to explain to somebody what they even mean?
Would that
And
even mean?
you know, it's like the Olympics, but it's
But
smaller.
even so, you know how what I really hate is explaining to people that I made a world championship team, but I'm not an Olympian. Like,
Like I really say, but I'm not in the Olympics every 4 years, so I may never get a chance to be that. And it's not even. And I had to explain to one person, like, because they're like, is it like a joint thing where it like adds one every year? And I'm like, no. So I'm like, yeah, I could be running fast for 3 years. The Olympic year come,
Mhm.
and I'm not ready on that race day, and I don't make it, and I can have
Yeah.
the world record. I can do all these things, and I could be your household name and still not make it. And then I was like, and then it could be the opposite. You could be doing nothing for 20 years of your life, wake up one day and be like, hey,
Run track.
and go the same year, run hard, make the team. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, it's not as,
Black
it's
and white.
exclusive in the fact that people can say that they're Olympians, but it's not as exclusive as the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like, that it's just, it's an opportunity that a lot of people get.
Yes, yes.
That, like, it's, for me, people always put like being a Super Bowl champion and being an Olympian on the same level. And it's like, if y'all only had the Super Bowl every 4 years, a lot of y'all wouldn't be Super Bowl champ. But hey, you know, so it's like, I tell people all the time, like, I feel like that's a reason why it's really hard. And then of course, when you have, so I had this conversation when I was at USA's, and of course I was fighting for some stuff that I felt like, we should get as as people who made the world team. There's some
Mm-hmm.
things like we should get some more opportunities. I feel like we should get because we made the USA team. And a lot of times I was told, well, that's only for the Olympians.
Oh.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, I'm going to tell you exactly what it was. Because, girl, who cares?
Yeah, right.
So, I was saying that I feel like I should have a verification check. I should have
And
proof.
if y'all don't know Lay, like I'm sure everybody on here knows Lay, like trust me, when the girl come out and be like, hold on, I'm thinking she gonna come out with some real like fact stuff that really is like, dang, you right, bro. Why we don't got that? Lay is
Dog.
the room shaker. She gonna shake the room and make sure everybody thinking twice about what's going on because she's
I walk in the room and I'm like, why is this guy not red? But then I get people because it's like, I'm gonna give you 30 reasons as to why the statue.
why you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's very much the debate team inside of me, and I really don't debate things that I don't have some type of knowledge or information
Yeah.
about. I'm saying, so a lot of times when I'm speaking very educatedly, if that's even a word. See, educatedly, not even a word, but see, I said it so confident that y'all probably thought.
So we had to stop and think about it.
See?
We had to stop and think.
So I was having a conversation. I was like, I'm like, hey, who do I go to talk about, my blue check on Instagram, on Twitter, on wherever, on every account I have.
Right.
And I was told, that's only for the Olympians. And girl, because I feel like I got the beef with the Olympians. But I was like, well, why? Because they're like, oh, because that's just how it's always been. Okay, for one, that's not an answer. That's not a reason for anything. Because if you're
Never.
doing stuff like it's always been, for one, the world is not what it's always been. Social
All right.
media,
Let's just go ahead and have slaves again. Like,
yeah,
all right.
like that. But social media is not what it's always been. Marketing, campaigning,
Yeah.
public relations,
Yeah. Very true.
none of it's been. So why are we trying to what it's always been? Even blue checks ain't even always been a thing. We just got Instagram. Like, so what you mean? That's how it's always been. And I was debating the fact that collegiates are getting blue checks, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot the fact that like I said, marketing is not what it's always been. So for a sport that we don't get compensated in dollars as much as other sports, if me having a blue check gives me the opportunity to do other outside marketing to get jobs that other regular people without blue checks can get. You know what I'm saying? Or just helps my profile look better, more enticing, helps me be able to charge this for that and that for this.
Yeah.
And it takes nothing from y'all, but it gives me.
It happened. Yeah.
Why would y'all not do that? And USA do follow me. So if y'all happen to see this live, answer me, riddle me that one.
Please.
Because and another thing is, I wanna understand, if I'm running at the highest level. First of all, ain't no Olympics for indoors. So if I'm running
Got it.
at the world team for indoors, I am at the highest stage that y'all even allow this to go.
For us to be right.
So my thing is, if I can have a picture on my Instagram of me in a USA uniform, if I'm now allowed to be titled a USA athlete, if my Google says I'm a USA professional track and field athlete, somebody Google me and let me know what it says. If that's my title now, and if I've competed for this country, then what are we gatekeeping the checks for?
Why
What's
you
the
gonna just have a check and tell people that I'm verified?
Because it don't even make sense that I can have a picture of me in a USA uniform, but I don't have no check.
And yeah,
And I just want to add it up. So it's like stuff like that. And I had multiple conversations about things like that. That is like, y'all, y'all not giving us the dollars. Give me the resources. Once again, you don't have to give me the dollar. Give me the list of jobs that y'all work with. You don't have to give me the dollar. Give me the resources so that I can go out and fend for myself if that's what we doing.
right.
Go out and
I
fend for myself. Me go out and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? When I am going to campaign, when I am going door to door to these places, does it not look more legit if I go there and I have a picture of me in a USA uniform and I have a blue check and you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
And I
Do
have the whole federation behind me. Like, what are we talking about?
what is this even an argument for? Like, what is this even
Yeah.
a debate for? That goes back to everybody feeling like they want to continue to gatekeep, and say that we're not growing. Well, we not growing because y'all don't want to grow. We not
Right.
growing. Have people in positions of power that had to, well, I had to walk 10 miles to school, and so I feel like you should have to walk 10. No, we don't have to do that no more. I feel like,
Athlete biz. What is that? I've never even heard of it.
of what?
Athlete biz. It says it
Where she,
helps. They can set up stores for you. They get compensated when people shop through your link. It's just
you're
a
popping up before mine because I'm
oh,
sleepy.
what's down here? But I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that like USA like offers like resources. Like there are resources. Like there are things there, but it's like that's a simple one. And like I said, when you come in a room, like you think of just simple little small things like that. Like that shouldn't even be an argument. Like you know what? Absolutely. Let's get that. Everybody who did make the world team, we're gonna make sure y'all all have checks. Like offer it. Like that's just y'all asked. You're here.
You know
Like we
what I'm
just
saying?
said, like you said.
What am I even doing this for?
Right.
Like, what am I even doing this for? And then that goes back to what I was saying about the family and it's like we give up so much to be here and be a part of this, and then y'all don't want to give us nothing in return if we not the top of the cream of the top. And I'm not mad at it, but like let's acknowledge that and let's stop acting like we're growing, we're evolving, we're doing this. We have so many opportunities. Yes, of course, there's somebody there. There are resources there. But even when I've talked to chairs of USOP and all these other programs that are put in place for athletes, and I say, I'm sitting down, I'm eating at Worlds, and somebody comes up to me like, "Hey, I'm the chairman of this, I'm the chairman of that, and have you gotten this money, and have you?" And I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Are you on an email
Right.
list? And then like, I'm like, I don't even what email. You know what I'm saying? So it's not always that there aren't any resources, but it's that there aren't. It's y'all job to make sure that y'all are protecting the athletes that we have, the developmental athletes. It's y'all job. You know what I'm saying? So I shouldn't have to, you know, mind you, I am grown, so I can go do
Right.
research. But that's what we have agents that we paying that's not doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all not putting in place like this. It's a simple fix. That's if y'all have the knowledge, share it. Put that in place. Post that on Instagram.
So like if you, because I mean just sitting here having this conversation, it just kind of ran like an epiphany over my heart. But do you feel like if there was a space in USATF or on the committee that would allow you to implement or put together or create a program that you could present to USA Track and Field, that they could possibly create funds for to help those athletes that are transitioning and developmental? Do you think that you would be able or could put together a program of something or some sort?
I would, if this was a job,
Mm-hmm.
personally, I feel like I would create a program that out of college there would be okay, let me think about it before I say it. I feel like that out of college there would be a program that you would enter if you want to take your talents to the next level.
Okay.
And that's straight out of college. That's regardless if you're getting signed, if you're unsigned, if you're developmental, if you're tier 4, 7. It will be just like a class that you take, and
Okay.
maybe if you know how we got Safe Sport that comes and does the classes or whatever, it would be just like that. You would go and you would get into a portal, you get into some type of web that would you could put your information in, and it will pop up everything that's applicable to you. Just like, you
Right.
know, you do college applications, and when you do you put your stuff in and it pops up like all the scholarship opportunities that you have based off of, something like that, like a database, something like that. And then I think the biggest thing is, even without having something like that, is having more mentorship.
Mm.
Have, have There's so many people that, like you felt, after they're done running, want to come back and want to be a part of track and field. Maybe the only thing that they know is to be an athlete. But if we had more places for mentorship,
Yeah.
then that would be a thing. Maybe a lot of those bridges would close, because like I said, a lot of the stuff that I learned, I haven't had to go through. I've learned because you've told me. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned because I have somebody on my team that's been through that. And I have another person on my team that's been through that with other style of athletes. And if I didn't have that, then I'd be right in the same place, saying this, having the same story as everybody else. Because it's too many times that I'm going on these trips and I'm talking to these athletes, or that I'm, whatever, and I'm talking to these athletes, and we all have the same story. Why does everybody have the same story?
Right.
Why are we struggling? You know
Right.
what I'm
Right.
saying?
What you reading?
I'm reading what Bianca said. Track and field umbrella is so broad that certain things are limited to tiers and Olympians like the blue check. It makes so much more sense to, at minimum, give athletes who make senior worlds. If I'm wearing USA, I should get a blue check. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing the tiers, the junior world. If I'm wearing a USA, the check should come with the USA uniform, or the check
Literally.
should come
And
with the Nike uniform.
figuratively.
Check should come with the uniform. The check should come like, and I did the math, and y'all would really have hated me if y'all would have been at that conversation, because I did the math on how many NFL players, whether they get on the field, whether they're just
Oh,
practice squad,
oh my
make a
God. We
get a
don't want
blue
to talk
check.
about it.
I'm not going
But
back and
but
forth.
even like but still, like, even with NFL, like, you cut the check, like, bruh just gotta say they on the squad, like practice squad, and you can go get checks just by being affiliated with the card. You get the NFLP, you get the card, and as long as you have the card, you getting discounts, into restaurants, down to eat. I mean, it's unlimited. It don't make no sense, and it's a real card. So
And,
again,
and
like,
you're getting money too. You're
yeah,
making you're making money. Like, let's
there's
not.
like there's practice squad players. Like, I think one year when Kerry was on practice squad, like off the field, like he racked up like a smooth like 10 bands, and that's a lot. Like, if you just doing stuff like showing up, signing your name, being at the school, like going to the school, reading books, like they pay people for stuff like that. Everybody wants an appearances, and like now in the day and age with just the Instagram and the influencers and like the social post, how much do you want to get paid to post this? Like $150 to post it in your story and put it on your page for 24 hours. If I could do one story a day for a week because I have a blue check and I have followers on my page because I made the world championship team running track, yeah, you gonna have to
I'm
cut me that check.
I'm
And that's the
not,
type of stuff that hurts. It really hurts. Like, I mean, going back looking at these girls like Instagrams, like now, like Instagram, I didn't open my Instagram until 2012, so I'm like not really sad about it. If I had Instagram in college and it blew up now, I'd be a little like, oh damn. But because I didn't
I
have Instagram, I was cool. I'm cool with it, but I see where it went and where it's at now, and I would have never thought that it would have turned into what it turned into right now, as far as making money off of posting pictures and videos and
so
content.
it's not about it's I'm tired of people always trying to make it about tier one, tier two, tier three. Da, 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 da. I'm tired of it. No, it's not about that. This is about making sure that every athlete that goes out there and literally is dying, killing themselves,
To
financially
represent.
can have another opportunity to make a dollar. It's not about y'all still trying to separate, y'all still trying to gatekeep. It's not about that. Like I said, it makes no sense that I can be a professional athlete of any caliber and not have that and not have that opportunity to go market myself as such. Period. Point blank. And that's if that's not even just about having the USA. That's if I'm on NBC running,
Yeah.
I'm on ESPN at Prefontaine. I'm on these for real. Cause there ain't no way I should be on TV. Ain't no way I should be able to be on your cable. Ain't no way. You can't tell me. And y'all gotta stop. Y'all have to stop with that. Y'all have to stop with that because these are not those times. These are not
Yeah.
those times. They're not those times. They're not the times. They're not the times anymore. So move on from the blue check. Move on from the blue check. Move on from the kids. We done. We're done with the
Right.
kids.
Both.
Baby. Ooh,
Yeah,
child.
no, I feel you on that verification though. I feel the type of way about that all day. Especially just once you've accomplished certain things and done certain things, it shouldn't be hard for me to be verified to say who I am. Like I you want me to send you my social? I can
Like,
see.
girl, I've been having fake pages made of me. I need the blue check, girl. So, okay, let's come back.
Take it back.
Whew.
Family transitioning, what it was like. I decided, it was a lot doing it financially on our own. So choosing my family was very important for me. And it's been nothing but great during that time. But it was a huge transition in the sense of knowing that I'm done with track. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm able to function. I can move forward. I can find other things to do and be okay with that. It definitely took me having everything in front of me to see that and to be done with it. And that's crazy because blood, sweat, and tears would have took me out, bruh. I would have been out there probably right now doing some hurdle tricks.
Girl, shut up. So tell me, this is one of the biggest things that I want to touch on before we go. Tell me about when you're competing and even, as a professional, as closing your career and stuff like that. Tell me about like yourself. Like, how do I want to put it? How do you express yourself? Like, we had a big thing where hair, makeup, nails, everything's just so, like we did that. So just wanted to know if some of the struggles that I went through being a collegiate and even going into my professional career or the career that I thought I was gonna have that I didn't have, but then I had later, like struggling with that, struggling with people making me feel like I have to look like the girl next door, struggling with people telling me that I shouldn't be outspoken or that I shouldn't have an opinion or and we went through some of this while we were together. We
Mm-hmm.
went while COVID was happening and protests and everything was getting crazy, and we had to really stand on a lot of our morals and ethics and values. And was that something that was hard when you were in college? Was that something that was hard when you were a professional, being expressive of like how you feel on the inside and being expressive of how you want to be viewed on the outside?
Absolutely. Very good question. I will say that it was hard, um, but only in the sense of, I guess, the way that I choose to express myself sometimes. So I don't always have like the best filter or the best way to express myself. So um, I've always kind of had to be a little clean cut when it comes to like not my Instagram, but at the time like my Facebook or like my Twitter, like things like that. When it came to like track, I went to Arizona State. So we were a pretty clean cut team, like within itself. We didn't get a lot of like outlandish people or anything that kind of shook the room to make things different. Small things that I worried about was like tattoos. I got a really big tattoo when I was in college, and I was a little insecure about it for a while, thinking that I wouldn't be able to get endorsements, and I would like, well, I would put me on a billboard with these tattoos on me, like I look manly, I look like I look like a dude, like with these tattoos, and I'm strong and all that stuff. Like it's not attractive, so I kind of dealt with that a little bit, and then like more so than not, a lot of my peers not having any tattoos and like getting deals and signing contracts and things like that. So like that was one thing. Um, I was blessed to like have coaches that weren't like super like anal about like my relationships and like how I handled like people as far as that with my relationship. So that wasn't nothing big, but I think just when when you are on a platform, that comes into play no matter what. You have to think about how you're expressing yourself. And I think for a very, very long time, I did feel like I had to be filtered. Things that I may have thought I wanted to talk about, I shouldn't talk about. And even now, to this day, I'm still the same way. Like I approach it the same way because I don't like the smoke. I really don't like drama, and I really don't like to like step on people's feet. Even though in my head I might be stepping all over everything that's going on, I have kind of learned that there's just a time and place for everything. So for me, I don't have to go out my way to necessarily express myself on certain things, so I'd be cool with it. And that's a passive part of me. That's a part, just part of my personality. However, I do notice and I do see that there is a lot of struggles that we do have as women when it does come to expressing ourselves, whether it be, how we feel about our bodies, how we look, what we're wearing, what we're posting. Um, just all types of things. I mean, y'all be surprised how like the things that women get asked or the things that women are expected when it does like come to the sport, and how, and even like the how we answer things or how we approach things. We're very much so conditioned to a lot of that. And I think for me, I just have been more so like just conditioned to kind of stay in like this like just box of, hey, go out there, run fast, do well, do your thing, and go back. I never felt confident, I guess I should say, enough to like pop my shit.
Yeah.
Never. I trained harder than everybody that I ran with, and I know I did when I was training with in college. I will say, like on my team, I know I was the fastest girl on the squad. I know I was the best girl on the squad, and so I just never was a popular shit type of person. In my head, I did, and I always would have loved to line up and like tell the person next to me like, "Well, it's good, let's go." Like, but I just don't think that we're allowed to do that. But but you have like the Carmelita Jetters that did it, and like you have, the Lolo Jones that talk and say what they feel, but they just don't get good raps. They don't get the love. Shakari don't get the love that she's supposed to get for saying or expressing herself like how she wants to express herself. And that's hair or nails, weave. Take your weave out because you're not gonna run fast enough. And I've struggled with that. Like, should I cut my hair off? This me because I want to run fast. I'm take my weave out. How much weave should I put in? Like, should I have braids? Should I do this? Like, just wear a ponytail or don't do nothing to my hair and then look like a hood rat on television because I didn't do my hair and I'm looking crazy. But I just wanted to run that day. I just wanted to run fast. Like one of the better meets I've ever had in my life was the Pac-10 championships at the time. Televised meet. I ran like 11 races. Athlete of the meet, all over the conference network, everything. And I literally have like this blonde fro in the front, a bleached blonde fro. It's bleached, and my fro's like this big, y'all. So, bleached in the front, the back is brown, and I have a t-shirt cut as my headband to tie over the front. Like, you would have disowned me as a friend. I didn't have friends at the time because they let me out like that. But that's how my hair looked, and so like, but for me, I was just running fast. I bet you was people at home talking about me so bad, but I'm on TV winning. I was winning my races. I was on TV the whole time. But those are the things that we face as women, and it sucks. It absolutely is devastating. But I honestly, as I got older, I just being around, I guess, like you and Natasha. Natasha is probably like my biggest influence of just like being expressive, like on the track and like feeling confident and free to do whatever you want when you step on the track. If you want to put your hair in a ponytail in a bun, slick that whole back and run around the track, do your thing. And if you want some long, flowy flojo down your back with long nails, do that. If you want to be buff and strong with strong arms, do that. If you don't want abs and no definition, don't do that. Like, literally, like we're able to do whatever we fucking want, and it's crazy that they put all these standards on us that make us so insecure. For me, a lot insecure and not so confident enough to want to even express myself because I don't know what backlash comes with that, and I just prefer not to.
That's so, and it's crazy because it's like a lot of us won't admit, that we're like insecure about about the shit that we do, like,
Yeah.
and even when we have like, I was saying last time I was on, I was like, dang, I just happened to pick a bunch of black gorgeous athletes. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all, but it's just like, even like people look at me or whatever, and my mom, she called me after I ran in Bermuda, and I got dead last in Bermuda, ran in 200, got literally dead last. And she called me, and the first thing she was like, well, you look good, girl. And I,
You look good.
and I was like, I did look good, didn't I? And
Yeah.
like, when I was little, and my mom would always be like, make sure you do your hair, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, because you just never know, you could get dead last, and everybody looking at you.
Period.
And I remember going to college, and people, and when I say people, I mean my coaches. I remember having an argument with my coach, and my coach being like, in front of everybody, Lay, if you knew that you could win, if you knew that you got a possibility to win nationals tomorrow, but you have to shave your head bald, would you do it? And I was like, no. And I said it with so much confidence at the track meet, because I'm like, no, I wouldn't like shave my head to go bald, like for this track meet that I could
Right.
win. And then I
Right.
got like, girl, no, I'm not doing it. And
Absolutely not.
And this was when I was at Oregon. And he told me right then and there, he was like, and that's why you'll never win nothing, because you don't want it that bad. You don't,
Mm.
like, the next girl want it. And I'm just like, I mean, if I gotta go, like, why me as a woman do I have to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, or look away that I don't want to look, and I'm on the track insecure? Yeah, I'm gonna come out here. I'm not even gonna run fast because I'm be so insecure
Right.
about
Right.
my, like, y'all put these stipulations on me as a woman, like I should have to do all these things and I should have to fit in this box, but I don't see y'all doing that with the men. Like, you ain't ask nobody, none of the men, like, are y'all gonna go bald, or y'all gonna take y'all chains off, if y'all, you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Right. Are you gonna go? Are you gonna go 5 years without a haircut?
You
Don't
gonna wear,
cut your hair and go out there and run. Let's see how
like,
that looks.
and it's like people always feel like, you're so pretty and you just go out there and you do whatever you want, and you wear your hair down your back. I've had people talk about, you lost the race because your hair was long and all
Mm-hmm.
these, like, definitely have had all that. But it's like, y'all make me feel insecure,
That way, yes.
the things
Yeah.
that I know I want to do
I
and looking the way
that.
I know I want to look, because y'all make it such a big deal to look and feel good, to the point where me and my coach now, I'll get a uniform and I'll immediately take pictures. Does this look okay? Do
Oh.
you think they're gonna hate me if I have my back out? Like,
Uh,
you know, it wasn't until I wanted to do this campaign, and a very I have a very I don't know how I'm gonna I have a very interesting video that I made that is going to be at the end of this campaign. And it wasn't until I, ran it across his desk, and I was like, how do you feel about me doing this and looking this way on Instagram, in public, whatever. And he was like, it's your body. You could do whatever you want with your body. Like, as long as you go out there and run fast, I don't have anything else to say. And that's one of the first times I've ever had a coach be like, you can look how, and you can, like, it's your body, you're a woman. If this is something that you're like, if this is something that is important to you, then go do that. And show your creativity, and reach people however you feel like you want to reach people, because it's
absolutely.
important. And sometimes I feel like people forget that when we go out there and you have a short blonde afro, or when I go out there and I have long curly hair, that it's a little girl out there that might have a short blonde
Yep.
afro, a girl
Yep.
out there that have long curly hair, and they never get to see anybody that looks like them. Or maybe when Carrie goes out there, she wears her orange wig. Maybe, it's not no little girl out there with no orange wig, but maybe it's a little
But
girl
it's
out there with mom wears color hair. And
mm-hmm.
it's the first time I've seen anybody represented in her family like that. And it's just
Yeah.
like, a lot of the times I feel like y'all make it not, a lot of people make it so black and white, like you gotta be girl next door, or you're too much outside the box. And it's like,
Yeah.
we just came to express ourselves. And y'all, instead of us feeling insecure about our decisions, y'all are forcing this insecurity on us.
Right.
Not even
Right.
made from within. It's y'all making like I should do my hair different, and
Or
and
I have
and
certain where I can't put colors in and do all that stuff, because like I never would have felt like I could wear colors or run with the wig, or even like, I mean, I watched you train every day, and you saw me, I was in amazement every day. Like, Lay, that's all that's your hair. I'm trying to figure out how you did, like, what's going on. And you like, girl, like, what? I will never come out the house. Like, but I was always like, kind of like, get it out the mud. Like, you come, you show up, and you do what you got to do, and none of that other stuff matter. I want to say the first person like that I saw like, of course there was like Flojo, and then like my big representation was Allison. So I was just always like straight back ponytail again, like she was our representation. So it's like no
yeah,
tattoos, like pretty smile, good skin, like no makeup, like just this perfect girl that runs fast. And like that was like, to me still, like it's just a beautiful look. I love Allison with a ponytail running down the track. Like that's life to me. But for other people, it's like, no, like I just had to line up and go. Like I ain't got time to do all that or whatever it might be, or even if it's not even that, like people just, I want to look good, like you said, when I'm crossing the line because I know I'm about to win this track meet. But I always only saw Allison, and then I saw Carol Rodriguez. She went to USC. I mean, she's like a throwback, so only a few people might know about her. But Carol Rodriguez,
I know
she
Carol is.
she was the first to rock her 20-inch curly all the way down and run it around the track. And I'm gonna give it to, because I don't know nobody else. I mean, maybe been a couple of other people, but I'm gonna give it to Carol because that was who I saw, and that's who inspired me to go get my first inches. And after that, like, it was, that's what people would say, you gonna run with all that hair, your hair is so long, oh my gosh, like da, da, da. And I was just like, Carol doing this, she running fast. Like, what's the big deal? Like, I don't know. It just
Bro, if
started
you want
getting like,
to
then it was like, okay, I'll have long curly hair, and then I'll just wear it in a ponytail, and then, like, you started like putting everything in a constraint because it was too much. Like, like if you did have the long nails, it was like, why your nails so long? How you gonna get the baton? Like, just stupid stuff that is like, nobody was saying any of these things when everybody else was doing it. But it's just hard for people to see people step out. It is also hard for people to see people be fly, like, it is hard for people to see people be fly and popping and to do it confidently. So when you get a person that's asking you why you doing all that, it's like, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't, they just don't. And that's so true.
And it's crazy because when I was at World, I can't tell you, I had the first interview, but when I went through the media mixer, and for y'all who don't know, that's like after you're done running, you go through like a stream, like a whole hall of like media.
Mm-hmm.
And the one question I got was, your eyelashes are so long. Why are they that long? And it's like, y'all, I just went out there and did the do out there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just went out there and pop my shit. And y'all asked me about my eyelashes. Like,
Hey. And then
this is
and then the next person to tell you, well, next time don't wear your eyelashes long, and you don't have to worry about that. And it's like, or no, or they just asked me about my race because I just ran.
because I just,
It's tough. It's really tough. It's really tough. And I mean, that's just, I guess that's the sport of track and field. And I guess it's all just really dependent upon what you're trying to portray. And nowadays, it's about the brand. So if your brand, I remember like talking to my husband about it. I was like, hey, I want to get some more tattoos. And he was just like, okay, get them. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I'm trying to do like these like modeling things and like these commercials. Like, how, he's like, how do you know you're not gonna be like a tattoo model? Like, that they're not gonna want a model, or you just be the mom that has tattoos with the babe. Like, how you know that's not gonna be you? And I said, that makes sense. Like, because you don't know, you have
you
no
know,
idea. You have no
and then,
idea what's for. You create your brand, and once your brand is packaged, then you sell that to the people who want to buy it. If
but
nobody else buy it, then you don't gotta have it. It's my brand. It's me. If you want it, you can have it. You don't move around. If
see,
anything that we've learned in the last 2-3 years, like, that has to be it. Like, this is what I have to offer, and if you don't like it, you don't have to. You don't have to use it. You can do with it somewhere else, and that's fine.
and that's exactly why y'all, and see, now y'all be trying to I am the way that I am. it, it, it is not that Jasmine making me this way, but she reinforces it. She reinforces all that. So get
Because
this blade.
everybody ain't gonna like it. Everybody ain't gonna like it, and you gotta know that everybody's not gonna like it. Everybody's not gonna like you. Everybody's not gonna be your friend, and I'm cool with that. My mama taught me that. And it took me a while to learn it. It took me a long time to figure it out, but then once I figured it out, it was just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm straight.
In this world, it's like you could do all right, nobody like you. You could do all
Yep.
wrong, nobody. So you might
Yep.
as well just do what you do. Okay.
Just do what you want to do. Do you, and make sure you're happy when you're doing it. Make sure you're doing right by people when you're doing it. Like, and that's all. That's it. That's it. You can't be halfway, just being, you can't be being shady. You can't be being subliminal. You can't be throwing shots. You can't be trying to get people to see what you're doing because you want them to know what you got going on. You just got to do your own thing. Like, you really got to do your own thing, and everything will work out for you in the long run. And I noticed that with you. I be watching. I be telling you this all the time. You be on your shit. When you be on your stuff, it pops for you. So you just gotta stay on that.
I feel like it looks easy from the outside, but maybe I'll be struggling. It's easy from the outside. Like I know, I know me and Mo and Jordan. I know we just make this look like 1-2 step.
Like cake, just so fun.
I know we just make it look so fun and glamorous for y'all, but y'all, that's all I can give y'all.
That's all they need. Everything that knows.
You know
Look,
what I'm
we
saying?
work.
Like black people know when you be like,
That's the
they,
bringing it in.
you don't even need nothing else. So, oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. That was
Always.
100.
And just talk.
That was minutes. See, that was
And
I said it, and I would have said it with some confidence. Y'all would have thought that was
yeah, y'all would have thought about it. Y'all would have
y'all
stopped
would
and
have thought.
thought.
But that was an hour and 35 minutes, and
Oh,
we gave y'all a lot, from blue
yes,
checks to sponsorships
yes,
to USA teams to Olympians to all, just anything you could ever think of. Agents. I'm glad we
yes.
went into. People need to know. People need to hear that, and y'all needed to hear about the fan comments. So if you watch this and you come back and you ask me, did I go to Olympics? I'm gonna block you.
Period. Stop asking me if I'm an Olympian. I went to the
Exactly.
World Championships.
World champion. That's it. So of course I am gonna post this on my Instagram. All the lives are gonna be posted from this campaign. And I did say that this campaign was only going through the month of April, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really.
I thought we was going through the summer.
No, it was only supposed to be for literally the month of April, but I didn't really like when I did my calendar. I really just didn't realize how much work and like how much like I was going to be gone traveling. Then I went to
Yes.
Bermuda for. It's just like so much. So the campaign is going to be for as long as it takes for me to complete all the steps and everything that I have for y'all. I'm definitely like I'm excited, and like I am done with deadlines, and I'm done, like when things are done they'll be presented to y'all,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
the way to do it, and that's just the best way to give
Move
y'all.
space. It's the most honest way to like do things. Like just keeping that space when you feeling it. When you're feeling that motivation to post it. When you're not, don't, because it's just not gonna be right. So yes, what
Yeah,
you
like
doing perfectly fine.
to be 110%. I want y'all to hear like really like I love having these conversations with people who've been there, done that, because a lot of the other people that I have coming on live are still current athletes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of lessons that we're learning and that we're going to learn. And I have one more that didn't really quite reach the level, and so she has a different aspect and take on things. But as far as like professional athletes that's already been there, done that, finished their career and moved on to a happy, successful life outside of it, this is the one. So I'm happy that y'all got this and hear this, and this is going to be on my double back. If y'all didn't, if look,
Yeah, Alaysa. Zoe said it's over with.
whenever y'all don't have nothing, come back and watch it. And if y'all have any questions, put them at the bottom, and I'll go back from time to time, check them, or y'all can DM me. My DMs are always wide open. It's a crazy place out there in my DMs, though. So, you might get lost in the sauce, but thank you. I my baby pink Crocs today. I can't make it up. I literally had them on today. I'm getting off this live. This
Yes.
live will be saved, and we will see y'all later. Thank you,
Bye,
Jazz, so
y'all.
much. Live,
Thank
a
you.
part of my life.
Yes.
And girl,
Love you so
and,
much.
and if y'all are like below 5, I am running tomorrow Miami, I'll be running the 100 and the 200, and only y'all know that. Only y'all know that.
Okay.
I'm putting that.
So if
Keeping that
you're
on.
not on here, you ain't get that.
If you not on this live, or you don't watch this live by tomorrow, you are not getting the tea. So I'll be competing in Miami. If you're in Miami, pull up. It's the Tropical Park. It's the True Fit series. Whatever the case is, I'll be out there running my little heart out tomorrow. So
let's go.
We're gonna end this live right there.
All right, y'all.
Your own. I'm gonna text you when I end this live.
For sure. Bye. Okay.
Bye.
It's nighttime. Bye.